My name is Megan Bazzi. This is my venue marketing presentation. So the event that I chose to market is called the Myrtle Beach Invitational, and it's held at the HTC Center right at Coastal, actually. The HTC Center is a facility that was it's opened on August in 2012, and it started being built around around April in 2010. It is a semi-new facility that has the campus bookstores in there. It has state-of-the-art like gym with a rock climbing wall and all sorts of things for all students and faculty. And the main thing for this event is the basketball arena, which can hold up to 3,000, like around 3,600 fans. So it's a pretty good size place. It was $35 million facility that was put in, and basically a little bit of background on it is the student government at the time saw a need for a new recreation center in around 2008, and so they brought that to the board of trustees, and that is how we have this new center. So for my event, it is a 3-day Division I basketball tournament with 8 teams in it. The way that this event actually came about was in 2017, the Puerto Rico tip-off was supposed to happen down in Puerto Rico, but Hurricane Maria came, and just there was so much destruction down there, and everything was like just super, as hurricanes do, as we know at Coastal. Everything was just not fit to have an event like this, so they needed to find a new place for this event, and Coastal, what the HT Center specifically, was one of their options, and they ended up having it there. And the Puerto Rico tip-off, if you don't know, because I didn't know, is basically the same thing. It's like it's a Division I 8 team basketball tournament. So after having this event, they decided, oh, this place is perfect to have a similar event, and so they created the Myrtle Beach Invitational as its own event. So this upcoming year, 2020, will be the 3rd year that they have been putting this on. So it is a fairly new event, but it happens the week before Thanksgiving break. And for the market, so there's about 500,000 people in the Myrtle Beach metropolitan area, and about 11,000 students in that go to Coastal. So I would do that as a big part, like as an analysis of the market in general. However, but their market is just sports lovers in general, people who want to watch basketball as their market. There isn't a specific age, there isn't a specific race or gender. It's an event that is family friendly. There's things for kids. It's an event that college students is interesting to them because it's college basketball. And a lot of people watch like March Madness, so this happens before March Madness in the beginning of their season. So it's a thing that appeals to them. It appeals to local people who, I'm sure, obviously everyone watches basketball or sports in general. So if you're a sports lover, that would be the giant market as an analysis. However, there's 2 target markets that I think would be like the most important ones to target when any type of advertising or marketing is going on. The first one is the fan base of the teams. The 8 teams that are coming, their fan bases are usually the ones, there's usually like 1 or 2 that make up the majority of all ticket sales that fill up the games. And so the example would be this past one, which is, I actually worked it, so I was there and got to see how many fans they really did have. The first one would be Villanova. So this past year, Villanova, anytime they're at their game, you saw their presence. They are the ones who filled up most of their seats in the arena, and so their fan base was a giant part of ticket sales. And so and then the year before that, the Western Kentucky was a major fan base that came to support the tournament, and West Virginia. So those fan bases and targeting those are super, super, super important because they, as I said, fill up most of the stands when they have those games. So luckily, marketing to them isn't going to be as hard as maybe the other market is the local community, but marketing to the fan base isn't going to be as hard because they already have a strong brand association with the team. So they're obviously fans of this team for a reason, whether they go to school, whether they have a family member or friend that goes there, whether they just love the team in general. They have this association, and so they already love the team. So you don't have to sell them on this team. If if they want to watch and go, then they're going to go because the team is what they want to see. However, what you can market to them is the total experience of the Myrtle Beach area. And so when I was targeting them, I would want to talk about the things that they're to do when their team's not playing. Maybe at nighttime when they're not watching games, like what can they do? Where should they go to eat? Like, and just market it as a vacation, because that's going to make more people willing to go and travel as opposed to, but the main key thing and great thing about them is that you don't have to sell them on the team already. You're selling them on traveling to go and come, because they already love the team and they're already fans. That's the reason of the fan base. So selling them on the team isn't the big deal, but getting them to come is the main idea. The other key target market that I would say would be the locals and students. So a lot of people are going to want to come to this event because it's unique. It has Division I teams that are good and are known or whatever coming to this area, which is an event that doesn't happen. There's no other basketball events like this going on during that time, so they have no competition. And it's not even something that really happens at all throughout the year. It's a unique event, so that's going to make people want to come to it anyway. 2, there's a lot of people that move down to the Myrtle Beach area, whether it be students that come down here or grandparents that have retired down here, or just people that move in general, that move from up north or move from another place and just end up in Myrtle Beach. And they're going to, a lot of times, they can associate with some teams. So I know this past one, Villanova was in the tournament, and I personally am like up near Villanova, so like my family likes Villanova, and like I know that there's a lot of people from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and like up in this northern area, and Maryland, and all those things. So those are going to be, to them, it might feel like a hometown team. So marketing to this market is going to be so important, because you can get a lot of people, if you market it right, to come and see these teams that they've loved. Maybe they loved when they lived there, they love when they go home, their family loves, whatever, but they're coming to them. So now they have a chance to go see them. Therefore, overall, I feel like these two would be the most important 2 markets to get, because as I said before, there's about 500,000 people in the Myrtle Beach area and then 11,000 students. So that's a lot for the local community / students market. And there's a lot of people with potential. Obviously, not all of them are going to be sports lovers necessarily, but that's a big potential for us to market to that type of people and the local people as wanting to come out to this unique event. And as for the fan bases, like, they already love the team, so all we have to do is sell them on coming down here and maybe making a vacation out of it to see their favorite team. As for radio, TV, or newspaper marketing, my teacher, my professor, Professor Shalarith, he is the one who got me to be able to help work, and he works close with the head person of ESPN to put on this event. And so I asked him, I FaceTimed him to get one of my references as to figure out who I talked to and like about the event, because he has a lot of inside information about it, because he's been working it the past 2 years and worked closely with the head person. And so I asked him about how they marketed, and he said that they honestly didn't do a whole lot of radio or things like newspaper ads, because 1, this is an ESPN event, and so ESPN is already such a widely known brand that they don't have to like do a whole lot or necessarily pay for a whole lot. So for the first one, that I would say is that the fan bases of the teams, they're going to hear about it from their school. Their school is going to say, oh, we're going here, or if they follow the team, or if the family members, they're going to know about it, the event, from the school. So then, if it's something that they're interested in or mildly interested, the school's going to want their fans to come because they want to be supported. So they're going to do some of the marketing for you already. Then ESPN can, if I was doing this and I said this in my paper, I would put it on the ESPN website, put it on the ESPN social media for sure. The ESPN social media, they have something like 15.9 million followers on Instagram and 35.2 million followers on Twitter. That's a lot of people in the world. So they already have that big reach to everyone. So and that's another thing, it's totally free. Social media, 1, is free, but 2, for them, they can advertise on the actual ESPN channel, and it's free for them to advertise on them because it's their channel. It's within the company, so they don't have to pay an outside person to advertise on that channel. So definitely doing social media and putting it on their website and doing like maybe a commercial or ad during another game, something like that, is going to, one, put it out there in the world as a like giant reach, and two, it's going to be not costly for them. What I would say for them to do is to have flyers up. This is more for the local reach. So for the flyers, put flyers in like different local restaurants and businesses, and obviously ask them. And then to have billboards. Billboard are only $970. I looked that up in Myrtle Beach. It's $970 to get a billboard. And so that reach of that billboard, because there's so much traffic in Myrtle Beach, literally 501 or 544, so much traffic all the time. So people are sitting in traffic, they have nothing better to do, look up at the billboard. Perfect. So they could get billboards, and that's not going to be super, I mean, obviously they're a little bit costly, but like not crazy if that's all that they need to do, because they don't have to pay for the website or the TV or anything like that. And therefore, for my budget for the marketing amounts, I said that it would be about, I allotted a total of $5,000 for the total marketing thing. However, as what I planned, I would only spend about $2,985 to be specific. This is because, so 970, I said to get 3 billboards, which would total out to $2,910. Because 3 is like a good number. They can space those out in the Myrtle Beach area, and it's going to get a lot of people to see. Because it said that on that website, it said that the average reach for a billboard in Myrtle Beach is something like 27,000 people. So 3 billboards is going to be perfect amount if they see that. And then I don't know how they would do printing, if it would cost them to print, or how they would do that for the flyers. But I just said that it would be 25 cents per paper, and they'd print 300 flyers as like an average, and then that would be $75. So that's how I came out to my total amount. But then I said $5,000 in case like maybe getting closer to the event, we're not getting the ticket sales that we think are what we need. And so I would say have that extra cushion just in case we need it, so that we're not like going over budget and like having not planned for that. I'd rather have that extra money. If we don't use it, great. If we need it because we need a little extra marketing, then we have that and it's already planned out. Okay, so after talking about the budget and everything for the marketing, let's talk about public relations. So ESPN is a worldwide company. It has very strong, as I said before, brand associations. Everyone knows what ESPN is, and sees them as very like, has a good reputation. They're a good company. They are reliable for any sports needs that you might have. They're very well known. So they don't have to do a whole lot of public relations events to build up that reputation. However, to maybe entice people to come, one public relation event that I thought would be cool is if, especially for the locals and students, this would be more geared for them. However, some super fans might find this super interesting too. If you purchase a session pass, you can maybe do a meet and greet with the team before the tournament starts. So that would really, it's going to entice a whole lot of the local people, because they're going to want that. And if they have kids, then they would buy a ticket for them and their kids, and then that'd be 4 tickets sold. And so, or the students might see that as a very like something that's worth it to pay that money to go and meet these players of teams that maybe they really like or respect or just are fans of. So this would be a great PR event. It would show that they care about their fans, and it would also is not going to be that costly for them, and maybe the event maybe has to be 20 minutes, 30, depending on how many people come. It's not going to be a whole lot of time constraint for them, and they just have to take a few pictures, and it's really not going to be that costly. Second thing, and it's going to drive ticket sales up. The second thing, which they already do this, and I just think it's a great public relations thing, and now something that I was part of, is the on-court promotions that they do at halftimes and timeouts. So we go around and we got people from the stands, kids, sometimes adults, sometimes kids, depending on what the event was, and we asked them if they wanted to participate. So they actually got to come down onto the court that they were watching the big teams that they like play on and participate in the events. And it was just really fun, and it gets kids involved, which is why it's a family-friendly event, and it just gets everyone involved, and it's just a good, shows that, once again, ESPN wants you to feel involved. It's like a big family. So those are just some really good public relations events. that do occur and possibly could occur and be really helpful. The ticket pricing for this event is probably on the lower side, like compared to something like March Madness or something. But that's because, like I said, it's a new event, so it's only been done 2 years before, so this will be the third year. So I'm sure it continues to grow and get more popular. The ticket sales are going to go up. But last year, for a session ticket, which is you get 2 games, it's $40. And then for a all sessions pass, which is all the games of the 3-day tournament, which is 12 games, it's $160. And then for students, so the past 2 years they didn't charge students, and so I'm not sure if they will charge them this year. However, I said that they should charge students this year because it's getting to be a little bit more popular, and so I said that $15 is a very doable number for a college student, especially if they get to go see this big teams that do come out to this event, like Villanova or Mississippi State or stuff like that. And therefore, I think that those prices would be good. And if we had, so the arena fills 3,600 people. So we had a total of like 300 session tickets passed, so for the whole weekend. 3,000 session tickets passed, and then like 500 all game passes, and then maybe like 200 students that came out. That would equal about $200,000. And so that would be a good amount of money. And so I think those prices are pretty reasonable. I'm sure that as this event gets more and more popular, they're going to go up. But as for now, these are what the prices are. Lastly, for my SWOT analysis, this event has a whole lot of strengths, not a lot of weaknesses, some great opportunities, and maybe like I only found one threat. However, so the strength, one, like I said before, it's an ESPN event, strong brand, very strong like association. People are going to think of this event as more like an actual event, like give it more respect as compared to maybe just a coastal event, because ESPN is, like I said, a very well-known brand. 2, it's going to provide great publicity for Coastal as a college, because like it's on all ESPN channels, and so it's showed on ESPN1, ESPN2, and so people are gonna see Coastal, and they're gonna see the big Chanticleer in the middle of the floor. So it's great publicity for Coastal. It's not a common event that like happens every day, run of the mill. Like it's a unique event, and so people are gonna want to see it because it's not something that they can just see any day. And lastly, the market area, like the area is of Myrtle Beach, is great for an event like this because there's so many hotels for people to stay at, so many places for people to go to eat. Like, it's not going to overwhelm the town because it's a tourist area. It's built for this. Weaknesses, one, if the event does really take off, the arena is only 3,600 people. So that's a good amount for now because, like I said, a smaller event, it's newer. But if it starts to really take off and maybe took off like how March Madness does or something like that, that could become a weakness because it can't house that many people. However, they could drive up the prices, but it would still be a weakness because people wouldn't be able to get a seat. Another weakness that they would have would be that some teams are really, really good, like top 10, top 5, and then we have some teams that are not as good, maybe like down to the 100s. So if they don't set up the bracket right, it could be a blowout game, and then that's just not even worth watching. So that could be a weakness for the event. Opportunities, one would be they could increase the price of the event the more popular it gets, so they could potentially make way more money than they were making now. 2, the surrounding businesses is going to stimulate them. It's going to bring in so much business for them because so many people are coming, they're traveling with their family, and so the hotels, everyone's going to benefit from this. The school's going to benefit from it, the hotels, the restaurants, the activities surrounding everyone. And lastly, like I said before, it's more exposure to the school and the area. People are going to see Coastal Carolina and they're like, oh, and maybe they'd never heard of it and now they have. The threats, however, would be parking. Parking on Coastal Carolina University is already horrendous. And therefore, having an event this big during a time where there's still students on campus is just disastrous because the parking, there's not going to be enough parking there probably wasn't enough parking this year, and if it continues to get bigger, there's definitely not going to be enough parking. So that could be a threat to people thinking that like they didn't plan for this well, that they don't care about their people, that they're making them come from far away, have to find parking. It could be a big thing and a threat to the stability of the event and just overall. Therefore, this is my presentation. I hope that you all enjoyed it, and I thought that this event was, I personally working it was super fun, super interesting to see the ins and outs of the event planning side, the marketing side, all of it, and I think it has great potential to be marketed very well. Thank you.